Thank you for hopping on today. Obviously, we're talking about last night. The Maple Leafs win the Atlantic Division crown. We're through 81 games. What's been your read on the Maple Leafs this season so far?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've kind of said all year. I mean, you guys catch them probably deeper than I do from every game standpoint, but I mean, I feel like it's a little bit different this year. I felt like it was trending a little bit different each of the last couple years, but I feel like now all of a sudden they got a few elements that I think will pay dividends in the playoffs. So, yeah, I mean, I think that I'm cautiously optimistic that this could be a year where this team can go on a run. I really do believe that, and so yeah, we'll see. It's going to be interesting how it plays out, and but I mean, first things first, getting that number one seed, or sorry, in that division, I should say, winning that division is something that's huge for them.
Yeah, one of the big things with this team, Rupper, obviously, is having high end quality hockey teams that don't get it done in the playoffs. In your experience and everything that you've done, what's the biggest change going from that last regular season game to dropping the puck in round one of the playoffs?
I think the biggest thing is in Rose, like you got to find another level, and it's going to be uncomfortable. And I find that it's not just the top end guys got to find another level. I mean, if you're a third line guy, a fourth line guy, a sixth defenseman, you got to find another level. You have to squeeze more out of yourself at that time, and that can mean 100 different things, right? Like maybe I don't know. I mean, you don't want to ever sit there and think I left stuff on the table. Like as a player, I felt like I gave it everything I had every night, but in the playoffs, you got to find a way to find it more. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing. And do you have those types of players? I mean, the fact of the matter, there's some great players in the league that I don't know if they have another level, and that doesn't mean they're not great hockey players. They're just players that I don't know if they could find another gear come playoff time. So, I think that's the big thing. When I look at this Leafs team, one of the big differences that I see is that they finally got someone in the top six that can do things a little differently. And, that's Matthew Knies. And I just feel like that's something that you've seen this team try to address certain things, but I, when you want to get whether it's grittier, play in the trenches, all those phrases that we use all the time, it's fine when you add them in different parts of your lineup. But if they're not in your top six or they're not in your top four defensemen, I don't know if it's really going to change much for your hockey club. It'll help in some areas, but you need you need the guys that are going to be playing different, playing with your big guys, and I think that's what Matthew Knies provides. So I'm really excited to see him in the playoffs, man. Like I don't know if I would call it a coming out party. Everybody, I think, knows who Matthew Knies is right now, but it feels like if this team goes on a run, like I could see a world where Matthew Knies is like the man. I don't know. It certainly helps the guys he's playing with, right? But I just think because he's different and he can provide some different things with his size and his ability in those tight areas.
I tell you, Rupper, this campaign you're on with Matthew Knies is just getting me going. I'm minding my own business a couple weeks back. I'm a big hockey fan. I'm watching Pens Blues. You're on the broadcast doing a great job as per usual. And I hear Matthew Knies. I hear Offer Sheet. I hear Pittsburgh Penguins. Please explain yourself.
So I'm doing Rosie. It's funny. I'm in St. Louis doing the call, and I usually have my watch on, so I'll get the notification. I look down, I see Nick's name come up. I'm like, what's this asshole want? And so no, I end up I look and he's like, stop with the Matthew Knies offer sheet. And the way I brought it up is because I was talking about the obvious offer sheets in Broberg and Holloway and how successful those were. I mean, it kind of transformed St. Louis in a lot of ways. And really, Edmonton's not the same team because of it. And so I was like thinking to myself, and we've all thought for years, man, why aren't there more offer sheets? Like, is there a handshake between all these GMs? Like, they don't want to ruffle each other's feathers. Maybe this will be one that is paid such dividends where we'll see more of it. So then you start looking at some of the potential guys that can get offer sheets. And I'm thinking, and I've heard, and I didn't say he was going to get one. I said a lot of people think if there's one to receive one, it's Matthew Knies. He would be my number one pick as far as an offer sheet. So I think that's just where it's at. I mean, it's a slippery slope of getting this guy signed, some other decisions to be had. I just think if there's an offer sheet that you want to throw out there, that's the guy. Like I promise you this, whether it happens or not, I promise you 31 teams are probably having a conversation. Is this an avenue we want to go down with Matthew Knies? And that's my thing. It's a dangerous spot right now, I think, as far as the Toronto Maple Leafs and Matthew Knies.
He has come out of his shell. He is a beast. I think you're talking about him that highly for good reason. And another side of things in the goaltending position, like Anthony Stolarz, I mean, he's got 3 out of the last 4 games are a shutout. He's 8-0 in his last 8. He's leading the whole league in save percentage. Like, what a time to crest. How important is that? I mean, the difference between that goalie that just doesn't quite get that last one, doesn't quite get that second effort, lets in one squeaker. I mean, that's the game. How important is it to have a guy that's peaking at that level at this time of year?
I mean, he's the game one. He's the game one starter, right? Like,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we're all on the same page with that, right? Like, I know that we've had some conversations down the stretch. I think that was kind of answered. And that's no knock to Joseph Wall. I'd be totally comfortable with Joseph Wall in there too. But Stolarz, like you mentioned, this guy's a beast, man. And I like his size that he brings too. He's a wily vet, been around a long time. That's probably the other factor, probably the bigger factor. When I mentioned Matthew Knies, it's something different with this team. They've got goaltending, and I would probably go out and say, now, do they have? If you're going to go, do they have the best goaltender in the playoffs? No, I don't think that. But you're talking about a tandem, and I would put them against anybody. I mean, I really would. I mean, who's got a better tandem than the Toronto Maple Leafs? And so, yeah, man, I'm excited to see what he kind of brings to the table. And I like the fact that he's been around. What is he, 30 years old? Like he's grinded. Like he's been grinding his entire career to get every opportunity he's gotten. So, we've also seen Joseph Wall be pretty spectacular in the playoffs. Like I like what I've seen from Joseph Wall. So I think they're in a great spot, Rosie. I think that's probably the biggest difference with this team. A lot of things I think Craig Berube provides a different angle on how this team should play. But at the end of the day, I'll even go over the last little stretch. We did a dive the other day on how great John Tavares has been down the stretch, and what was it, the last 8 games prior last night's or last couple games even. They're 7-1 in those games. So I started kind of looking, and when I had to research at NHL Network, I'm like, hey, give me some defensive like metrics and things over that stretch as far as, because their goals against were down or whatever. And they're like, he came back and he's like, honestly, they weren't really defending that well. It was just really good goaltending. Like the goaltending was really good. So that's my point. We know they can defend. We know they're dinged up too on the back end. But when they have a night of maybe not defending to the level that they want to defend, they've got goaltending to make up the difference. And that to me is something new that this franchise hasn't seen in some time.
Yeah, that's the big story, is that they have 2 capable guys that I think are capable of just winning a series on their own. We've seen time and time again in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So this matchup with the Ottawa Senators, the 5th installment of the Battle of Ontario, how do you think they stack up against the Sens this season? And do you put any stock in the fact that the Sens have had their number the last little while?
No, I don't really put stock in the record. I don't know. I've been on both sides. Like I remember the one year I was in Jersey, we were playing the Rangers in the playoffs, and the Rangers beat us every game in the regular season. And maybe it was us just trying to look at the glass half full. That didn't really come into play. I mean, we got worked in the series. Don't get me wrong. It didn't really help us, but like we didn't go into it like, oh man, we can't beat these guys. Like it was a fresh start. I think that's the way you look at it. Hey, it doesn't matter. Like it's the playoffs now. I mean, if you're Toronto, even though you haven't necessarily had the playoff success, you can sit there and be like, it doesn't matter. These guys haven't even been in the playoffs. Like, we this is a clean slate for us. I don't know what you guys think. I'm kind of nervous about that matchup. Like, I would almost rather have, because here's the thing. I think if they were going against the Florida Panthers in the first round, you've got back-to-back Stanley Cup finals, Stanley Cup champions. There's almost like an understanding that like, hey, this can go either way. And maybe that in some ways almost takes a little bit of pressure off the Leafs. You're never going to get the Leafs coming in with no pressure, but it would help. I think this, because it's Ottawa, because they haven't made the playoffs, because it's the Battle of Ontario, like I feel like Ottawa has zero pressure in this situation. Like they're playing with house money, and that just seems to drop a lot of weight on the Leafs. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah, I hear you. I think that there's you'd hope they're smart enough to know there's so much parity in the league. Like just because they sneak into the playoffs, they haven't been there in a while. I mean, you look at Brady Tkachuk and the way they play, it's made for the playoffs. I think it's going to be a war. I think that the Leafs would be ridiculous to think it'll be anything less. I gotta think that at this point in time they have seen enough and fallen and faltered and been disappointed enough where they know that from the drop of that puck, they got to drop the hammer. And
Yeah.
we'll see. Again, I think that if you look at their back end and their goaltending situation and their depth, I think they've checked a lot of boxes. Craig Brubake's come in here and kind of changed their mentality. It all comes down to the big boys. Like, are you going to be the big boys? Because their problem in the playoffs has been scoring the goal to tie it up, to take the lead, whatever. It's just they just sit there and spin their wheels and the clock runs out. And that's kind of what they've done, which makes me think, Austin Matthews, as good as he is, his 400th goal last night. What do you think about him? He doesn't. I mean, last night he had 3 at least huge chances that you're used to seeing him just bury that and he'll miss the net or put it in the chest or something that we're not used to seeing. Do you think he's hurt or do you think he's biding his time? What do you see from Austin Matthews?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I have a tough time because listen, man, I've talked to you guys about this before. And I know that some of these fans are gonna be like, this guy's a Matthews hater. I promise you I'm not. I love Austin Matthews. I just think at this point of his career, I wish someone would have gotten to him a little bit earlier and kind of talk to him about how you can elevate and get to the next level. Some of the intangibles, like is being a leader. And I think he's a good leader. I think he's learning how to do that. I just wanted it to happen sooner because I think this guy's the greatest goal scorer in currently in hockey, and I think he's got a legitimate chance of going at this record that we just saw Ovi beat. And so, I want to see it. I don't. I question has Austin. Can Austin find another level? The level he plays at all the time is very effective. It's great. He's a great hockey player. But can he find another level? Because I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. And I mean, his numbers might be fine in situations, but whether you're talking playoffs or whatever, I've seen other Toronto Maple Leafs find another level in the playoffs. I haven't really seen Austin yet. So that's where I'm concerned. Like, I think Willie's a gamer. I think Willie has that extra blank you in him. We've seen Mitch at times be the best player in the series. I don't know if I've seen that from Austin yet. And is this the time to do it? I don't know if he's dinged up. I don't know what it is, but I think the bright spot in all this is what John Tavares has been doing, what Matthew Knies has been doing. I think it's taken some of the pressure off of, I mean, even Willie, it's taken some of the pressure off of Mitch and Austin, right? Like, I don't know. That's just at least how I feel about it. So maybe this will be something where you can go out there and thrive. I want to go back real quick on something, Rosie. I want to know your opinion on this. How do you address seeing and assuming that Brady Tkachuk's good to go? How do you assess him in this series as far as how you approach him if you're the Toronto Maple Leafs? Because I'm sitting here thinking to myself, trust me, I love, knock 'em, sock 'em, drag it out hockey. That's the NHL playoffs. But do you want to go down that avenue with Brady? I think I think what we saw at Four Nations, Brady's going to make a statement at some point in this series and be like, we're the Ottawa Senators and you're going to have to deal with us. Do you turn your cheek to that? Like, I think what do you think Craig Brubake's telling them?
Yeah, I think it's a fine line. I mean, I don't think you want to reinvent yourself and all of a sudden the Maple Leafs are this rock'em sock'em big bruiser team that's going to overpower Brady Tkachuk. On the other hand, it's pretty tough to go into a series and say we're going to play like complete chicken shits and we're going to
Yeah.
let them take the penalties and we're going to turn our cheek and look at our toes every time there's a scrum. I think that's just those guys will lick their lips and run them out of the building. I think it's a matter of just being smart, being professionals. If he wants to do some dumb shit at the end of the in between the whistles and whatnot, stand there with your hands down and your head high and everyone comes in and help each other out. But you got to dictate during the play, like be hard on Brady Tkachuk, those big D-men, work him in the corners, feed him that extra one, stand up. And then, if he wants to get frustrated and say, hey, I'm the one that plays that kind of hockey, then yeah, sure, let him take penalties. You got to do it smart, not get thrown off your game, not try to reinvent the wheel. But I really think it's a fine line between letting him do that and not letting it get under your skin. But also, you can't totally play chicken shit hockey and let him just take over. I think you're going to get ran out of the building.
Yeah, no, it's intriguing to see how because we've seen. I go back to like the 16-17 when the Penguins won, and I don't agree with this type of hockey necessarily. But Mike Sullivan was very clear. He said that the Pittsburgh Penguins through the playoffs because they were a pretty soft team. I'm just being real. Like they were a pretty soft team at the time as far as any pushback in physicality. And his thing was, we'll make them pay on the power play. And here's the thing, they did. They made teams pay at that time on the power play. And where they kind of got in trouble over, I think, the last few years is their power play has not been good. I mean, it's good this year, but it hasn't been good. And that only works when your power play makes teams pay. Yeah. If your power play doesn't make teams pay and they're taking your lunch money, you've lost. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where I find that, to your point, you don't back down, but I don't think you fuel like Brady. We know Brady's going to have a crazy ass moment in this series. We know that. I think that's who he is. And he's been waiting years to get to the playoffs. He's going to try to be in bully mode, and you hope that the referees just, keep things under control. I don't know. I think if I'm Austin Matthews, if I'm a John Tavares, I'm one of these guys, every game in the series, you're going up and I think you're having a conversation with the referees. Hey, we've been talking, we're staying out of you got to kiss ass. We're staying out of the shit here. We don't want to get involved. If they're going to do that, that's their thing. I'm just letting you know, talk to me if you need more of it. But our emphasis is we're staying out of that stuff and just start planting that seed in the referees' heads. But I'm really intrigued to see how they handle Brady Tkachuk in this series.
Mm-hmm. Rupper, lastly, don't feel obligated to pick the Leafs. You got a prediction for this Battle of Ontario?
Yeah, I mean, I got the Leafs. I just think that I think Ottawa's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough out. And I've been a big Ottawa Senators guy the last number of years. I just feel like the goaltending, I'm not a huge Linus Ullmark guy. He hasn't been good in the playoffs. Can he be the difference? Like that's the X factor. If Linus Ullmark is all world, Ottawa can certainly win this. I just don't know if he can be that right now. And I don't think Ottawa defends well enough to help him be that. So I got Toronto. I do think it probably goes 6 games, though, I would say.
Regardless, we're so jacked for this series, man. Thank you so much for taking the time today, and enjoy the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs here.
Awesome, boys. Enjoy, man.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.